Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello, welcome to the Persistence Payoff Show. We're here on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm your host, Kimberly Schaefer. This show is founded on the belief that our goals and our vision are the spark, and persistence is what brings those into reality. So I'm learning so much from talking to different people about their experience with persistence in their own professional lives and in their personal lives. And as you can see today, we're in a different setting. We're here at the San Diego Combat Academy. I'm here with Tiger Smalls, former world featherweight boxing champion and a member of the California Boxing Hall of Fame. Tiger is the head boxing coach here at the San Diego Combat Academy, and he trains professional fighters, amateurs, and people like me who come for the classes. And I think I've been coming for about 10 years, and I love the classes. It's just a fantastic workout. So I'm really excited to talk with him and learn about his experience and his view with persistence. I'd love to start with going back to where it all started, because You were world featherweight champion, which is, you can't get to any higher than that, which is fantastic. But you started really young when you were 3 years old in Muhammad Ali's gym in New York. And I wonder if you could just tell us a little bit about how that happened and what that experience was like for you.
Well, I was born and raised in New York, but I started boxing at 3, but I met Muhammad Ali in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania. That's where he kind of summons me to his training camp, and I was 5 years old at that time.
Wow.
So I was already making a little bit of noise. Being between 3 and 5, I was already in a little bit of publications, Newsday, Daily News, Right On magazine. I was in a few magazines, and he saw me, and he wanted me to come and train with him. So that was pretty cool. It was a great experience.
Yes. How long were you there?
Well, I was there for like summers, and then I would go back for certain training camps. So, I was on and off there for at least 3 years.
Wow. And did you get to watch him and other pro fighters train? And
of course, wow. Yeah. And hear their stories and listen to them behind the scenes, of course.
Yeah. So that's pretty amazing. So you had that drive in you from the age of 3 to box. It
was pretty much my passion. I always wanted to be a boxer.
Oh, sorry, I think we lost the signal there, and we're back. So you were saying that you've always had that passion to be a boxer and a fighter. Yeah. Well, so you had a really impressive amateur career. So I think your record was 92-11. So you didn't lose too often as an amateur.
Right.
And I'm curious to know, the few times that you did lose, what was your self-talk to get yourself back at it and to not give up? How did you keep on getting back in the ring, literally?
I for some reason, when I did lose, there were some times that I lost, but I thought that I actually won. But the times that I actually lost, I always thought to myself, I could have done better. I've always thought that there was something that I could have do better to not even maybe win, but to look better, to perform better. So every loss that I had, even my last loss, I never took it personally. I had to get better in something, and I tried to dissect what I had to get right. So I
But it's there we go. Sorry.
even what I was trying to say was, even when I felt like I won the fights, I tried to go back and figure out why the judges robbed me. So I always tried to fix the problem. I never really, the losses really, I never thought of it. It's almost like getting into a car accident. You can't stop driving.
Yes.
You gotta now be alert for the things that can cause an accident from personal experience, I would assume. So that's what I did.
I find that that's really a gift to be able to do that and not just beat yourself up, right? Because I think people can go down a rabbit hole of, I'm a terrible fighter, I messed that up, I'll never be able to do it. And then it's really hard to dig your way out of that. But I think you being able to look at it that way of like, what do I need to do better to improve is really, that's very powerful. And I would imagine that also translates into your coaching now. Like, you're coaching pro fighters, and do you use that same technique with them when they lose and maybe they're feeling discouraged? Right?
100%. Even when they win, I think it's always about getting better, because like we talk about persistence, it's a fine line between persistence and insanity. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
that's true.
So if you're not trying to get better, then it's insanity. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
persistence, but getting better, building, rising, getting better. So persistence is very important, but you've always got to be getting better. Even when you win, you have to get better. So there's a lot of times when my son or even my fighters have won fights, and it still was a quiet ride home because I'm upset because they didn't do the things that we needed to do, or what I wanted to see for them to get to the next level, to prove to me that they are getting better.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And when I heard an interview once with a Navy SEAL who was talking about how they can tell or predict who's going to make it through the SEAL training, which is so difficult. And he said, it's just a look in the eye. It doesn't have to do with their physical abilities. It's a look in their eye that tells them who's going to get through. And I'm wondering if you see that same thing in your fighters, or do you have a way of, like, when someone comes to you and wants to train with you, what are the factors that make you willing to accept them?
Well, the eyes never lie, but I don't. In the case of me looking at a fighter, I really don't look at it from that. I just look at how they can retain the information that I'm giving them, how they can retain it, and persistence. Goes along with constantly doing something, just not when people are looking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to do it all the time. Like, if I could tell if my fighter is taking this home with them, you learn more at home when the coach or your teacher is not down your back, but you're able to study at home and at your own pace and try to collect everything that you've learned in school. Then you apply it at home, and that's why you got to do homework. So I can tell if you're doing homework or if you're just coming here, to just, do it while you're here.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And your son, Prince Tiger Smalls, was a professional fighter, and you trained him. And I'm curious to know what that experience was like for you, both as a coach and as a father, training your son.
Nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking. Having your son go in there is, you have absolutely no control of the outcome, because you're not getting in there, and fighting yourself. But I think I was more nervous for every one of his fights than I ever was for any of mine. So and he proved himself. He kicked ass. He did a lot of good things. But
yes,
I was nervous before every fight. Yeah. So
Oh, I can imagine. And now he's a coach and a trainer and doing a great job. So
He teaches the kids here. He also teaches 6 a.m. here. They got the breakfast club. And yeah, he's doing very well. Very well. He's a great coach. I think he's a better coach than me. He's more patient. He's more patient.
well, I think you're both great coaches. So I yes. Yeah. Another question I have is, sometimes when people, so you had a great professional career and a long one, and you won many awards. And sometimes we see with professional athletes, it's hard for them to decide when to retire. Like we saw that with Michael Jordan, for example, who kept coming back. Maybe some people said beyond when he should have. And how did you reach the point where you felt like, okay, this is really time for me to step down. I'm done.
I had to. Nobody's ever asked me that question, so I've never been forced to tell why I really retired. That's crazy. What does this show tell? What are you trying? Have you been doing? What you got written down? Okay. I retired because of my eyes. I was I never had a plan B. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be I'm writing my book, and that's the name of it. It's No Plan B. And I never really was. I wasn't going to become a trainer or a gym owner or any of that. That was never in my plan. My plan was just to fight. And but my eyes, the cornea and the retina and all the trauma to my eyes, I couldn't pass the eye test anymore. So California, once one commission, I could have went the route of trying to get my license in Mexico or trying to get my license in another state that's really relaxed, like Tennessee or something like that. But once Nevada, California, or New York say that there's a complication and you getting your license because of something medical or your eyes or even mental, you're not going to be able to get it. So once I found out that my eyes were too messed up to compete, I just didn't. I retired. I had no choice, to be honest.
Yeah.
So we all go to the point, I think, of no return. I think we all go there.
Yes. Well, and and maybe that was it's hard to know. I mean, I always feel like things work out the way they should, and maybe that kept you from
right, because a lot of people that's on the outside looking in, it appeared like I just retired in my late 30s, and I knew when to stop, and that's why I talk clearly and things, but I was actually forced to stop myself.
That makes sense. And was that from fighting? Was that
100%, 100%. And my defense was pretty good, so my eyes got damaged and from fighting for sure.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Well, thank you for sharing that, and we'll get to be the breaking news show and share that. So I'm curious. So when you did retire, and then and I would imagine, I mean, you've had this whole lifetime up until then of structure, right? You have training, you have things that you have to do. How did you proceed from there? Like, how did you give yourself structure for, okay, now this part's done, and now I'm going on to my next phase?
I continue doing what I'm even doing to this day. I got up early in the morning and went to the gym, and everything fell right into place. Like I said, I didn't think I was going to be training anybody, but I continue to go to the gym, and the next thing I'm teaching, the morning class, and then there was a time when I was just teaching down in North Park. I had 80 people in my class. Wow. You know what I'm saying, in my afternoon class. So once I started doing that, I started liking it. Anything, like Einstein say, you find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life. So it went right. I mean, it went right from retirement to me training, and from me training to me, teaching my son how to box, and then from there to owning my gym. So it just fell right into place.
Yes.
Everything fell right into place by me actually having a routine of life, getting up every morning, regardless of what I do, work out, you know what I'm saying? That's the first thing I do, and get my day started at 4:30.
camera again. There we are. We're back. I'm sorry. I don't know. We're kind of going in a little bit in and out. So apologies about that. But hopefully you're able to hear the audio when that happens. So, and one of the Okay, so one of the things I really appreciate here about the San Diego Combat Academy is that there are multiple trainers here. I mean, you have, MMA and jujitsu, but also it's a family enterprise where your son Prince Tiger Smalls coaches, your son Ali is up, in the front and managing things. And how does that feel to you to have your family involved in it and to make this a family enterprise?
Oh, I feel safe. I feel safer because before, having, Ali here, the people that was working the management was, kind of, taking things off the top, and, I couldn't, structure things the way that I wanted to. So with me having, my sons here and family here, and even the coaches that I have with me, we are family. So I feel safe.
Yes. I can imagine. And I would say as a member, it's also a really nice feeling. Like it makes it a warm environment. It's a family environment. And I'm curious to know, going back to your time at Muhammad Ali's gym, and if you left there when you were, 8 or 9, did you stay in contact with him?
Yeah, of course. I mean, every now and then, I'm trying to remember, how old was I? I think I was like 14, and they wanted to surprise him. He was in New York and he was doing a talk show, and they invited me to surprise him while he was there. And it was so great. It was great to see him. And that might have been the last time that I seen him. But between like 5 and my early teenage years, I was staying in contact with him.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I'm sure he was thrilled to follow your career and see what was happening. And, boxing is also known as the sweet science.
Right.
And I'm wondering if you can tell us why. Why is it called the sweet science?
Well, because there's a difference in art and science, and art can be, in my opinion, interpreted, because you have an artist that can throw this paint on the canvas, and that's what I would, describe it as, where you'll have somebody else look at all these different contrasts and explain how beautiful it is, whereas science, it is what it is. It has to be precise. It has to be correct. So there's certain things in boxing that don't make it an art, where you just can't interpret it. There's certain things, regardless to what style you have, whether it's boxer puncher, or just puncher, whether you're, the aggressor or the retreater, there's certain things that you're going to have to do to stay safe in there. At the end of the day, it's still self-defense. So there's certain defensive things that you got to know how to do, whether you do it differently or not. That's why it's a science. You could do things differently, but it has the same result because you stuck to one certain kind of what is it? Would we call it like a strategy? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be behind your shoulder if you're going to get away from the right hand, or you're going to have to. As a matter of fact, I'll give you something. Not even behind your shoulder. You have to protect this void right here. So whether it's here, or here, you know what I'm saying, or here. So it's like, it's a science. This is the void that needs to be filled mostly at most times for those straight punches and for the effective punches. Of course, the hook will be coming around here, but these are one of the most, this void. A lot of people don't know that they're just right here, but they're not realizing that void here, or here. It's the same thing, but it's a science. You know what I'm saying? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Oh, that makes sense. Thank you. That makes really good sense. And one of the things that I've noticed, and because of the gym environment here, we get to interact with the professional fighters sometimes, and the amateurs. And but what I find is that there's actually a really niceness that I find to the boxers. Like, it's almost like everybody, they get it out in the ring, right? But they're just like really humble and really nice people outside of the ring. And I'm wondering if you feel that also.
Yeah, of course, because we're fake.
Yeah.
They're killers, man. They're killers. Are you serious? But I mean, what I mean by fake is, there's a certain part of humility that, you don't want to really get into any problems. But I try to tell that to most of my fighters that I feel lack the killer instinct, that they can't be as passive as they see fighters in public. That's how they are in public. But once you get in that ring, you have to turn on that switch.
Yeah.
You have to have it in you. So I like to tell people, don't believe that it's not in them, because it's in them. That's why they fight. So, the humility and the the niceness, I think it comes from the fact that they don't feel threatened. So they're going to be nice. But if they feel threatened, you'll see something different.
Yeah, that makes good sense. That makes really good sense, because I see them get in the ring and I see that.
Oh yeah, they're going to turn of course.
Yeah, that makes really good sense. And I'm curious to know, like, do you maintain like a balance of like, I'd like to have X number of pro fighters that I'm training and Y number of amateurs, or is it more just how things evolve in any moment?
I'm just letting it go the way it goes. Whoever. I'm not looking for any fighters, and I'm not turning away any fighters. Soon I might go into turning down, projects, but boxing is my life. So, I'm just letting it flow. I get up every morning and just, I do what I do. At one time I think I had over maybe 10 pros at one time, and they all was moving. And now I think I have only like 3 or 4 pros. You know what I'm saying? And, it is what it is. I'm not, like I said, I'm not looking for fighters, but I'm not turning any away either. So,
that makes sense. And do you, I realize that there's the, you have the issue with your eyes, but do you get in the ring yourself sometimes just to work out? And
no, because I don't know how to, I don't know how to play.
Yeah.
I don't know how to play.
That makes sense. It's all or 100% or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. And do you look back at, the training that you received in your youth, and does that still impact how you coach other people? Like, how have times changed? Or with the sweet science, the science part of it, I would imagine stays the same across generations. But, does that still inform how you coach people now?
Of course. I think I keep it old school, because I allow the new school, like when the other coaches, because I have assistants, when they come in there, or even the fighters, they, because they got YouTube and everything like everybody else, when they come in with their new thingamajigs or whatever, I look at it, but I let them know, the reason I don't like it, because I think it's a handicap. It's almost like when you and we went to school, we learned how to tell time on those kind of clocks. Right now, people aren't used to that. They got to see what it's got to say 12, 11. It's got to have the time, AM and PM. Like, they don't understand that. Like, they really, that's a handicap. That's a handicap, not doing math. You just going on the calculator. So no, instead of, putting a sock under the chin and trying to keep it down, I tell you, keep your chin down. When it comes up, put it back down. You're not going to fight with a sock in your on the, but if that helps you, I'm more open now, and I let people do it, but I don't encourage it. I encourage to train your mind to be strong enough to do what you want your body to do at all times without any assistance. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm in love with the methods before Gatorade and Nike, when guys used to run in their church shoes. So imagine their shin splints that they used to get.
Yeah.
When they didn't even know about electrolytes, when nothing but water was their rehydration, and not thinking about, now you got guys that live by it so much, like, oh, I didn't perform today because I didn't get enough electrolytes. I'm not that guy. So
yeah.
I don't believe in it, but of course, the science, like, we know have definitely improved since those days, but we've made tougher athletes back then because we didn't have that technology. So I think if we just use the technology to a certain degree, but definitely continue with the old school methods of training, we'll have better even athletes today.
That makes sense. Yes, a combination of all of those things.
Of course.
Yes.
That's why I talk my smack about it. I'm not going to lie when they bring it, but I look at it and, like they got this thing now with the ball here and they hit the ball. I don't know who made it famous. It was some gimmick, but so it's good for hand-eye coordination. Yeah, it is. And I admit that, but I don't encourage it because just hit the bag and do the things that the other world champions did to become champion.
Yeah, that makes sense. And do you find like now with this, in this short attention
Yes, yes. And I can't fault them because because I cross train, I do certain other training and I'm always on YouTube too. So, but I hate it when fighters come in here and tell me, oh, well, I learned this from YouTube. And I don't like it even when it agrees with my philosophies, but let alone when it like disagrees with what I have to say. I really don't like it, but I can't, fault the seeker, the one who's trying to learn. So, I would appreciate it if they didn't because I know what I'm talking about, but
that makes really good sense. And so with the gym here, are you planning to open other chapters of it or other facilities?
I was thinking about it, but I want to get this a little bit more. I think it's not complete. I might want to add another ring here. We're doing. We got a little bit of the streamers. They come in here now and train. So I'm trying to get this one more before I try to franchise it. I'm trying to definitely get this one more popping. It's popping, but I want to get it bigger. You know what I'm saying? And a little bit more members. We got a lot of members, but I even want more before we branch off. Because I do have a lot of assistants where I feel like one day we can branch off, but for that to happen, I'm going to have to find a lot of coaches. I'm going to have to find more jiu-jitsu coaches, more judo coaches, more Muay Thai coaches, because we can't wear ourselves thin,
Yeah, well, that's true. And also here at the gym, you have pro fighters in those fields. Also, you have some pro MMA and jiu-jitsu fighters here. So, I mean, it's really impressive, what you've built. And I'm curious to know, are you, there's this new thing now with boxers with like movie stars wanting to get into the boxing ring, and I think it's Jake Paul or somebody. I mean, what is your view of people who are not trained boxers, picking it up late in life and giving it a shot?
I mean, why not? I mean, it's one of the only sports that you can do it. No one can just wake up and, think they're going to play in the NFL or in the NBA or even, in the MLB. You're not going to do that, right? So you can. I actually know Jake and his brother, and they really train hard. They've been training hard for years with real fighters. They brought in people like me. They brought in people like Shannon Briggs, Shane Mosley, and a lot of other star trainers. So they are serious about what they're doing. I think it's good for another field of boxing because it has its own audience, but I think it's good for boxing. I think it brings the attention on boxing, so why not? And like I said, it's one of the only sports that you can do that. I said, there's no way you can do that in any other sport. You're not going to just say, you know what, I'm going to train to play football. It's not going to happen. So yeah, so why not? And it's good attention for boxing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like just from the bits that I've done, it's like I feel like that training helps you in other parts of your life. So not everybody's going to go on to be a pro fighter or even an amateur in the ring.
Right.
But I think that there are elements of boxing and the discipline that translate into the rest of one's life that are really important. And I know you have a very active kids program here.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking, here we're talking about you being in Muhammad Ali's gym when you were young, but these kids are going to be saying, I trained in Tiger Small's gym. and so it's a nice full circle moment, I think, for them. And to have that opportunity and to be here.
I think about that every now and then. Because I remember, I look at the kids and I remember going to the gym when I were their age and looking at the trainers, the old grumpy men, and and how they were cool, still kind of cool with me, and I said that to myself. I said, I wonder if these kids are going to remember, like, Tiger was yelling at this guy, but he was cool with me. I wonder if I ever. So yeah, I do. It is, like you said, full circle.
Yeah, it is. It is very much so, and I'm sure they will remember it. I'm sure of that. And I'm curious to know. Now, I mean, you still have a lot of things going on, and you're doing a lot. So I don't mean this as a final answer, but just at this point, when you look back, over the things that you've accomplished, are there one or two things that you feel the most proud of?
That I've accomplished? Well, I think the biggest thing that I've accomplished is that I have 7 kids, and all of them are grown now, healthy, never been to jail, and all that. So, I think raising your kids to be, a successful member of society is an accomplishment, or the biggest accomplishment, mainly in today's world. So with my kids being healthy and like I said, never getting in any trouble, and they all have jobs and they're all got their own houses and apartments, I'm proud of them. So that's my biggest accomplishment, is my kids and the way they turned out and the way they're turning out, because the saga continues, but the way they've been turning out, I'm very proud of that. So my kids is definitely my biggest accomplishment.
Yeah, well, that's huge, and just seeing them here is so impressive. And Prince and Ali work here, but some of your other kids are around, and so we get to see them, and they all are very impressive. You're right. Yes, you're right. So I'm curious, when you are, if someone came to you and said, I have this dream, I have this goal, what advice would you give to them about persistence and just sticking with it and making it happen? Do you have like a couple pieces of advice that you would offer to somebody?
Routine is very important. But it's very hard for me to talk to a person. I got to really because that's a broad question, and I would really have to feel out that person. And the reason I said that is because, like I told you earlier, there's that fine line of persistence and insanity.
Yes.
And there's fighters that shouldn't be fighting anymore, and they continue to come in the gym, but they're not getting better. And, I would have a long talk with them, but one of the things that I tell most of my fighters is to be honest with themselves, because what you see is what we all see. And, it's up to you to be honest with yourself. A lot of people aren't honest with themselves, and they think they're better than what they are. Literally, literally, they literally think they're better than what they are. So that's one of my first things that I tell them. If somebody told me, I want them to be real with themselves, you know what I'm saying? And one of the very first things you got to do to be successful is see it. You got to see your success. If you can't see it up here and map it all out with your eyes closed and you see the visual, there's a strong possibility it won't happen. So, that's another thing I would tell them. You have to see it before it happens. So
that's really great advice. That's I totally agree with that. Sometimes it's not easy to do, but I think you're right. That's the way to do it.
It's simple, but not easy.
No,
right.
No, that's right. And I love what you said about the fine line between persistence and insanity, because I think that's absolutely right.
Oh yeah.
I think that's absolutely right. Well, this has been so great to talk with you and get to learn and hear these things. I'm wondering if you could share with us how people, if they want to connect with you in San Diego, or if they want to connect with you more broadly on Instagram or on the internet, how can they find you?
You can find me here at 2705 via Orange Way in Spring Valley. That's where San Diego Combat Academy is. And you could also, on my social media, is Tiger Smalls. All of them at Tiger Smalls for Instagram and for TikTok.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Super. Well, I end every show with a quote about persistence. So I picked one from Muhammad Ali today, and I think it also fits perfectly with what you were saying. And the quote from Muhammad Ali is, champions aren't made in the gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside them, a desire, a dream, a vision. And I think that ties perfectly with what you were just saying.
About the vision.
Yes.
Too, right? You got to see it. Vision. You have to.
Yeah. And that's how it comes true. And so I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. And I'm here every other Tuesday at 12 o'clock with the Persistence Payoff Show, 12 o'clock Pacific time, and you can watch anytime on YouTube. And I'd like to thank Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck and USA Global TV and Radio for this opportunity. So thank you so much.
Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now, listen, babe, now.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Ever dreamed of hosting your own TV show, sharing your story with a global audience? Now's your chance to shine. At USA Global TV and Radio, we make it easy for you to create, host and broadcast your very own TV show. Whether you're a storyteller, entrepreneur or industry expert, we help you bring your vision to life. With our exclusive interview, live streaming and podcasting training, you'll gain the skills and confidence to captivate your audience. Our global platform ensures your voice is heard worldwide. Join our community of creators who are already making an impact, one show at a time. Step into the spotlight. Host your own TV show on USA Global TV and Radio. Book your discovery call today at usaglobaltv.com. Copyright 2025 USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. To learn more, visit usaglobaltv.com. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting. We're building bridges and changing lives, one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by executive producer and director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.